Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining with us this evening. Welcome to our online broadcast here from the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. During this rains retreat, the Buddhist spiritual season, for 3 months, the monks get together, retreat in one residence, and support the community for their well-being, spiritual advancement, and help the community enhance in their paramitas throughout. So the London Mindfulness Meditation Center has begun the 3 months rains retreat as well, supporting the community as mentioned. So essentially we provide the opportunity for the congregation to engage in religious worship, engage in charitable work, meditate, as well as from time to time remind and learn the Dhamma for their own development. So we request from the community if they would like to sponsor the program so that they can also accumulate merit, dedicate the meritorious deed to their family and friends, as well as share merit with departed, enabling them to have a happy and peaceful moment wherever they are. All sponsorship proceedings go towards the building fund that we have launched so that the center can have a permanent base, and we encourage you to spread the message as well. And if you like further details, you could ask from your friends or even the organizing committees. So today the puja is sponsored by Mrs. Shiranti Arokyanather and Ariam Arokyanather, along with their children, Howard and Kevin. And the key intention of Shiranti is to share merit with beloved brother Sarat Nandana Pereira, as well as beloved parents. So may they rejoice in this punya karma and make their sansaric life happy and peaceful. If they are in an unfortunate state of condition, may they elevate from there and make their lives happy and peaceful. If they are in a good state, may they prosper and make their sansaric life happy, and eventually may they attain the blissful state of Nibbana through their righteous aspirated path. And also to bless the family and friends with good health and happiness. May everyone enjoy good health, be blessed with good health. May the blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha be upon them for their happiness throughout. And especially they would also like to bless their children's success. May they excel in the education and have a very bright future, and may no barriers come in between them and their successes. So with such righteous intention, the family have come here to make the offerings and now are participating online with us. So if you sponsor, you are more than welcome to also participate in person. So we provide that opportunity, and also share the links from our YouTube and Facebook channels with those who would like to participate from online or abroad. So before we begin our worship, it is tradition to observe the 5 precepts. Please say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramiraya majjapamādaṭṭhāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Tisaranena saddhiṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammam sādhukaṃ surakkhitam katva apamādena sampādetabbam. Let us worship the Buddha together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagavā arahaṃ sammā sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasārathi sattā deva manussānaṃ buddho bhagavāti. Buddhaṃ jīvita pariyantaṃ saranaṃ gacchāmi. Ye ca buddhā atītā ca ye ca buddhā anāgatā paccapannā ca ye buddhā ahaṃ vandāmi sabbadā. Natti me saranaṃ aññaṃ buddho me saranaṃ varaṃ. Etena sacca vajjena hotu me jaya mangalaṃ. Uttamangena vandehaṃ pādapaṃ suvaruttamam. Buddheyo kalito doso buddho kamatu taṃ mamam. Swakhato bhagavata dhammo sandittiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko paccattaṃ veditabbo viññuhiti. Dhammang jivita pariyantang saranang gacchami Ye ca dhamma atita ca ye ca dhamma anagata Paccapanna ca ye dhamma ahang vandami sambada Nati me saranang anyang dhammo me saranang varang Etene sacca vajjene hotu me jaya mangalang Uttamangena vandehang tammanca tividang varang Dhammeyo kalito dosa Dhammo kamatu tang mamang Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samicipatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang cattari purisa yugani Atta purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakkineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punyaketang lokasati Sanghang jivita pariyantang saranang gacchami Ye ca sangha atita ca Ye ca sangha anagata Paccapanna ca ye sangha ahang vandami sambada Natti me saranang anyang sangho me saranang varang Etene sacca vajjene hotu me jaya mangalang Uttamangena vandehang Sanghanca dividottamang Sangheyo kalito doso Sangho kamatu tang mamang Kanasarappadittene Dipene tamedang sina Tiloka dipang sambuddhang Pujayami tamonudang Vanna gandha gunopetang Etang kusuma santating Pujayami munindassa Siripada saroruhe Pujemi buddhang kusumena nena Punyena mitena ca hotu mokkhaṃ Puppang milayati yatai dhamme Kāyo tatayati vinasa bhavaṃ Adhivasetu no bhante Pāniyang parikappitaṃ Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu uttama Adhivasetu no bhante gilane paccayang imang Anukampang upadaya patiganhatu uttama Adhivasetu no bhante Sabbang saddaya pujitang Anukampang upadaya Patiganhatu uttama Vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbthani supatitthitang Saririka dhatu mahabodhing Buddha rupang sakalang sada Yassa mule nisennove sabbari vijayang maka Patta sabbanyutang sattha vande tang bodhipadapam Ime ete mahabodhi lokanathena pujita Aham pite namassami bodhiraja namattute Kayena vacha cittene pamadene maya katang Acayang kamame bante puripanye tathagata Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo Imina punya kammene mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya Idamme punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu sadhu. So that is the end of our worship this evening. So if you have just joined us, we go live every day at 6:30, sharing with you our worship, chanting and meditation. So today the puja was sponsored by Mrs. Shiranti and Aryam Arokyanatha, and the intention is to share merit with departed brother Sarat Nandana Pereira, as well as beloved parents. So may their lives be may they be happy and peaceful wherever they are. May they rest in peace. May they receive our merit and be blessed wherever they are. Eventually, may they attain the blissful state of Nibbana through their righteous aspirated path. The family is also wishing everyone with good health and happiness. So immediate family members, children and relatives. So may they all be blessed with good health. Most importantly, they would like to bless their children, Kevin and Howard, for a successful future. So may they be successful in their education, may they excel, and may they have a very bright future. May nothing come in between them and their successes. So with such intention, we bear those thoughts while we do the chanting today. So we will chant the Ratana Sutta and the Mahajaya Mangala Sutta, wishing you good health, happiness, prosperity and success. So may you be blessed with good health, and if you'd also like to bless someone, bear them in your thoughts, wishing them happiness and good health. So if you are aware with the chanting, Ratana Sutta and Mahajaya Mangala Sutta, please do chant with us so that we all can have the same wavelength and develop this compassion and invoking the blessings of the triple gem for every happiness. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajas Sunantu Sagga Mokkhadan Parittasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Parittasavana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Dhamma Savana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Yani Bhutani Samagatani Bhummani Vayani Veyantalike Sabbeva Bhuta Sumana Bhavantu Atopi Sakkacca Sunantu Bhasitang Tasmahi Bhutani Samita Sabbe Mettam Karota Manusiya Pajaye Divacharato Chaharanti Baling Tasmahine Rakkata Appamatta Yang kinci vittang idhva hurang va sagge suvayang ratanang panitang Nano samang atti tathagatena idampi buddhe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu khayang viragang amatang panitang yadajjaga sakya muni samahito Natena dhammena samatte kinci idampi dhamme ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu Yang buddha setta parivannai sucing samadhimanantari kanyamahu Samadhina tena samona vijjati idampi dhamme ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu Ye puggala atta satang pasatta cattari etani yugani honti Te dakhineya sugatassa savakai te sudinnani mahappalani Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu Ye suppayutta manasa dalhene nikamino gotama sasanam hi Te patti patta amatang vigaiha laddha mudha nibbuting bhunjamana Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu Yatinda kilo pathaving sitosiya chatubhivate bhiya sampakampiyo Tathupamang sappuri sangvadami yo ariya saccani avecca passati Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu Ye ariya saccani vibhavayanti gambhira panyena sudesitani Kincapi te honti bhusappamatta nate bhavang attamang adiyanti Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu සහවස්ස දස්සන සම්පදාය තයස්සු ධම්මා ජහිතා භවන්ති සක්කාය දිට්ඨි විචිකිච්ඡිතං ච සීලබ්බතං වාපිය දත්ති කිංචි චතුහ පායේහි ච විප්පමුත්තෝ චචාබිඨානානිය බබ්බෝ කාතුං ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු කිංචාපිසෝ කම්මං කරෝති පාපකං කායේන වාචා උදචේතසාවා අබබ්බෝසෝ තස්ස පටිච්චාදාය අබබ්බතා දිට්ඨ පදස්ස වුත්තා ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වනප්පගම්බේ යතහා පුස්සිතග්ගේ ගිම්හාන මාසේ පඨමස්මින් ගිම්හේ තතුපමං ධම්මවරං අදේසයි නිබ්බාන ගාමින් පරමං හිතාය ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු වරෝ වරඤ්ඤෝ වරදෝ වරාහරු අනුත්තරෝ ධම්මවරං අදේසයි ඉදම්පි බුද්ධේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු හීනං පුරාණං නවං නත්ති සම්භවං විරත්ත චිත්තා ආයතිකේ භවස්මින් තේ කීන බීජා අවිරුල්හිච්ඡන්දා නිබ්බන්ති දීරා යතහායං පදීපෝ ඉදම්පි සංඝේ රතනං පනීතං ඒතේන සච්චේන සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං බුද්ධං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං ධම්මං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු යානිද භූතානි සමාගතානි බුම්මානි වායානි වයන්තලික්ඛේ තථාගතං දේව මනුස්ස පූජිතං සංඝං නමස්සාම සුවත්ති හෝතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන දුක්ඛාවූපසමින්තුතේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන භයාවූපසමින්තුතේ ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන රෝගාවූපසමින්තුතේ මහා කරුණිකෝ නාථෝ හිතාය සබ්බපානිනං පුරෙත්වා පාරමී සබ්බාපත්තෝ සම්බෝධිමුත්තමං ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු තේ ජය මංගලං ජයන්තෝ බෝධියා මූලේ සක්ඛානං නන්දි වද්දනෝ එවං තුයිහං ජයෝ හෝතු ජයස්සු ජය මංගලං ජයන්තෝ බෝධියා මූලේ සක්ඛානං නන්දි වද්දනෝ එවං තුයිහං ජයෝ හෝතු ජයස්සු ජය මංගලං ජයන්තෝ බෝධියා මූලේ සක්ඛානං නන්දි වද්දනෝ එවං තුයිහං ජයෝ හෝතු ජයස්සු ජය මංගලං සක්කත්වා බුද්ධ රතනං ඕසදං උත්තමං වරං හිතං දේව මනස්සානං බුද්ධ තේජේන සොත්තිනා නස්සන්තු පද්දවා සබ්බේ දුක්ඛාවූපසමින්තුතේ Sakkatva Dhammaratnang Osadhang Uttamang Varang Parilahupasamanang Dhammatejena Sottina Nassantu Paddava Sabbe Bhayavupasamintute Sakkatva Sangharatnang Osadhang Uttamang Varang Ahuneyang Pahuneyang Sanghatejena Sottina Nassantu Paddava Sabbe Roga Vupasamintute Yang kinci ratanang loke vijjati vividha putu Ratanang buddha samang natti tasma sotti bhavantu te Yang kinci ratanang loke vijjati vividha putu Ratanang dhamma samang natti tasma sotti bhavantu te Yang kinci ratanang loke vijjati vividha putu Ratanang sangha samang natti tasma sotti bhavantu te Natti me saranang anyang buddho me saranang varang Etena sacca vajjena hotu te jaya mangalang Natti me saranang anyang Tammo me saranang varang Etena sacca vajjena hotu te jaya mangalang Natti me saranang anyang sangho me saranang varang Etena sacca vajjena hotu te jaya mangalang Sabbitiyo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu Mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digahayuko bhave Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata Sabba buddhanubhavene sada sotti bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata Sabba dhammanubhavene sada sotti bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata Sabba sanghanubhavene sada sotti bhavantu te Nakkhatayak bhutanang papaggaha nivarana Parittassanubhavene hantu te sangupandave Devo vassatu kalene sassa sampatti hetu ce Pito bhavatu loko ce raja bhavatu dhammiko Akasattha ca ummattha deva naga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu loka sasanang Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu dhamma desanang Akasattha ca bummattha deva naga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu mang paranti. Sadhu, sadhu. So we wish you and your loved ones with every good health, happiness, success and prosperity. May you all be blessed with good health throughout. May all your righteous aspirations also be fulfilled, and we also bless the sponsors today, Mrs. Shiranti and Mr. Aryam Arokyanatha. May the family be blessed with good health and happiness. And they all enjoy good health throughout. The family would also like to bless Kevin and Howard with every success. May they be blessed with good health. May they achieve every success. May no barriers come in between them and their successes. So we bless the sponsors, and we also share merit with the departed relatives. So Mrs. Shrant would like to bless and beloved brother Sarat Nandana Pereira as well as beloved parents. May they all be blessed. May they receive our merit and be blessed wherever they are. May they rejoice in this merit and make their samsaric life happy and peaceful, and eventually may they attain the blissful state of Nibbana through their righteous aspirated path. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So if you have joined us, we go live every day at 6:30, sharing with you our evening worship, chanting and meditation, and every other day our Dhamma reflection. So the sponsorship that the community is directed towards the building fund that we have launched. Every sponsorship is used to have a permanent base for the London Mindfulness Meditation Center, so that we can enhance our services to the wider community, and your support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like further information, please do contact us. How would you like to support in our efforts to have a permanent base? So coming to our Dhamma reflection moment, we have been focusing on what distracts you from following the Buddha's teachings. But we started with the human experience of suffering, and that suffering is due to the changes, due to the unexpected taking place, and most importantly, as the essence, or essentially the Buddha said, the clinging of the aggregates, or clinging of the identification of personalities, of I or myself, and or every moment being a reason to identify your personal preferences. So that those five aggregates or the clinging to the five aggregates are the reason for suffering. So essentially, again, we'll refer to the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, that greed, or the likes of sensory experiences, and the perpetuation or the continuity of that, and dislike of certain situations or certain destination. So kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha is the reason for our suffering. So we rejoice in whatever we like. We then continue to pursue and look for that all the time, every moment in our lives. We consciously or unconsciously show dissatisfaction to the existing experiences and try to look for preferred one, or something that you have concluded that is better or is best, and that is the reason for suffering. So when you look into that, it is obvious that there is a bit of a deluded factor, the fact that there is an identity or personality baggage, and identifying that as yourself, that becomes delusion. So that's why Sakkaya Ditthi is a fetter that binds you to the acceptance of this identity binds you to the samsara. And because of that delusion, we always are pursued with likes and dislikes, or we all are driven or motivated with our likes and dislikes. That becomes the roots. So these three, moha, lobha and dosa, are until and unless they are eradicated, we will continue to be born again and again and again. So what supports that that identity is about, that, or the delusion is about, is having developed some form of conclusions, which then makes us accept or reject, or actually be inquisitive. So being inquisitive and exploring is good, but sometimes what stops us from following the Buddha's teachings would be not having faith in the Buddha's teachings, or the Buddha himself as the teacher or the guide. So then that is the base of vicikiccha, or doubt. So we had 2 sessions on this, and today is the third, another ways of explaining doubt is what I'm trying to explain. So far I was recapping our reflection. So when you have trust in the Buddha, then only you'll be able to follow or accept all of his teachings. And because all of his teachings are directed to eradicate the 3 unwholesome roots I mentioned earlier, lobha, dosa and moha. And anything actually doesn't help to subsidize or reduce or anything that actually increases lobha dosa moha would not quite suit into the ways the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truth. So that doubt is essentially seen by commentaries in very different. So the doubt in the Buddha. So when you have doubt in the teacher, then you'd have doubt in his teachings, Dhamma, and you'd doubt in his followers or even the practice, Sangha. So if enlightenment is a doubt, then you will not follow the Buddha's teachings at all whatsoever. You will not practice. So enlightenment, theory, and practice. So there can also be doubts for that training, because once you don't, that is the external doubt in terms of our goals and practice, and sometimes we have spiritual doubts as well. But when you further look deeper into the training, we start doubting in our own path sometimes, and therefore sometimes we tend to cling to certain rites and rituals which become perhaps concluded versions of actually the root. But the Buddha always said we need to explore and understand and learn the Dhamma and maybe even cross-reference with the teachings. So there can also be doubts of our past and future lives, because cause and effect is part of the Buddha's teachings. So sometimes when we try to understand about the karma, and the karma, how things impact on karma in our lives, can bring about doubts. And when you have doubts, or if you don't accept the teachings of karma, there can be some reasons to ignore certain parts of the Dhamma or practice. You just can't choose perhaps, I like this bit only, and I don't like this bit, so I don't like to. So that doubt itself can then have a knock-on effect in other practices. So doubt about karma and doubt about past and future lives. Where did you come from? Where will I go? Can be quite problematic. And finally, when that also becomes the base of our doubts, then perhaps going back to the Four Noble Truth, you will not understand the way the Buddha the way the Buddha taught us the Eightfold Path and everything that embodies in the Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truth. So there will be a complete sort of doubt in his entire teachings or rejection of his teachings, and that will result in rejection of the Buddha himself. So therefore, doubt is quite important to free, and that is why it is one of the barriers to achievement or progress in spiritual aspect of practice. So if a person is sort of bound with those identity matter or grasping of the identity, doubt, and obviously the clinging to rites and rituals, that can also stop a person or bind a person to samsara. So what's quite interesting is the development, or in the Sabbasa Sutta, the Buddha actually mentioned 16 types of doubts that one can enter, or we can think of 16 types. So it's about if it is about existential matters, have I been in the past? Was I really there? Have I not been in the past? What was I in the past? How have I been in the past? So we can sometimes, if we bring all the logic to our understanding, we sometimes start doubting, as in the previously mentioned, from what state into what state did I change? Sometimes too much of a logic can also be a barrier to our understanding of the Dhamma. Because as I said, the understanding of the Dhamma should be completely to eradicate our greed, hatred, and ignorance. But the development form will start, being a barrier for our practice. So developing that into the future, shall I be in the future? Shall I not be in the future? What will I be in the future? How will I be in the future? So people will start sort of, what state, and all of this can be like a worry, or sometimes either because lots of people might not believe in rebirth or rebecoming, and therefore certain practices are ignored completely. And that will become one of the reasons of following just one or two aspects of the teachings, because it is quite suitable to the logic or to the accepted mindset, and that is where we need to be able to accept the Buddha's teachings with great conviction, and that conviction comes through the understanding of the Dhamma itself. So the present form is explained as in the Sakkaya Ditthi or in the Vicikicca format is am I or am I not? Because we are talking about this identity, that the personality baggage, the five aggregates, and suddenly there will be a question about then who am I? Am I not? What am I? How am I? So it is important to understand the Buddha's teachings deeply to understand what this clinging of the five aggregates mean. When did this being come into existence? Or where will it go? So rather than seeing in anicca terms and the transition or the flux of it, we sometimes actually try to use obviously religious language to understand, which is what I referred to in the previous session about the reference from Venerable Nagasena, the reply of Venerable Nagasena in the Milinda Panya. So if you want, you can refer to that. It is about, in gist, it is about talking about an item, but then obviously that is a collective representation. So like a chariot, axle, the wheels, the seat, the horses, they all are part of the chariot. You can separate them as well as you can take them as a holistic, as the word chariot. Similarly, we are all of these experiences, the bag of these consciousnesses, but then identifying it as permanent is where this problem comes. Was I? Am I? Am I not? Am I? Am I not? So we are talking about the difference between conventional uses of I or day-to-day use of I, and we are also talking about the deeply clinging that we develop so that it actually feeds to kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Essentially, this is what feeds to, bhava and vibhava. So the desire to actually not be if you accept this one, and the desire to be something else if you accept this one in a very different format. So rather than seeing it as a flux or the movement, one candle flame, we can light tons of candles, but each flame is different depending on the condition of the wax that is existent in each candle. And then the color or the flame or even the heat changes sometimes depending on the fueling status. Similarly, our flux or the accumulated accumulation just moves on. So there is no permanent self, permanent I that we can grasp, and therefore this ability the ability to not, or the way we understand this, the inability to understand this is what actually feeds the lower dosa more directly. So therefore it will be a barrier, it will be a binding factor for samsara or a cycle of births. So we need to free ourselves from this identity crisis that we actually generate through doubt, through the Sakkaya Ditthi, Vicikicca, and Silabbata Paramasa. And that is what the Buddha said. Essentially, clinging to this is actually the whole point of the suffering that we go through. The moment we free ourselves, there will be so much freedom. There will be so much freedom in our mindsets, and there will be so much freedom in our day-to-day lives. And eventually, once this progresses, and further understanding of the Dhamma, because you have accepted Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha as a guide, you will then see the Dhamma in a brighter context, and then the progress of this will help you to attain Nibbana quickly. So with that short reflection on doubt, we will conclude today's reflection on the third way of looking at the word doubt. We will then continue day after tomorrow. So every other day we do our reflection. So now let us take a few moments to engage in meditation practice. So please adjust yourself if necessary. So what's important is first paying attention to your posture so that you are quite comfortable. So once you have finalized, it is important to make a determination that this is the posture that you would be taking for the next few minutes without changing despite the urge to move. So quickly observe your whole body posture. We scan from head to toe, just noticing every bends or pressure points. Don't look for things, but just scan the body to see the body as it is. Now bring your attention to your nostrils, where the only movement takes place in the body in terms of the flow of the air. That is quite obvious to us. There are other things happening in the body, but what's quite obvious sensation-wise and imagination-wise is the movement of the air through our nostrils. So pay attention to the breath. As you breathe in, you can experience the cold air going through nostrils, and as you breathe out, sometimes warm air comes out. We don't force ourselves to breathe, so it happens naturally, and simply observe the flow of the breath. If you stay with the breath, it is easier to just notice the whole duration of the breath as it happens. You can imagine the start, the continuity, and the end of each in-breath and out-breath. For the next few minutes, just observe mindfully the breathing that takes place in your body. So thank you for joining us this evening. With that brief meditation, we come to a close of today's online broadcast. Please do join us tomorrow at 6:30 when we go live. So enjoy the rest of the evening. Stay safe. Take care. A very good evening and good night. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Teron Saranai.